Hello and welcome along to round 3 of the MotoGP Esport Global Series. It's Jack Appleyard and Jack Gorst with you once again to bring you 2 more races over the next hour or so. The halfway point was reached last time out with plenty of drama affecting pretty much everybody but our championship leader Williams Adrian, as the Spaniard extended his lead out to 29 points coming into tonight, but that could change in the blink of an eye, Jack, especially because we're heading to 2 iconic MotoGP circuits tonight.
Yeah, they certainly are, Jack, and they're 2 staples of the MotoGP calendar. First up, we have the Misano World Circuit Marco Simoncelli, and what drama that venue laid on for us this year in the MotoGP Championship in real life. Tight and twisty in its nature, it's certainly a unique challenge for our esport gamers. And following up, we have none other than the Phillip Island Grand Prix circuit in Australia. Fast and flowing, it's a fan and rider favourite, and it's a real leveller for these esport guys.
And it's a good morning, a good afternoon and a good evening to all 11 of our MotoGP Esport gamers that join us once again tonight. Hi lads, hope you're well. Best of luck this evening. We're going to chat to 1 or 2 of them in a few moments time. Before that though, we've spoken about races 5 and 6 coming your way this evening. But what about races 3 and 4 that took place at round 2? Let's take a look at exactly what happened at the Red Bull Ring and the Malaysian Sepang International Circuit.
Yep, it was that man Williams Adrian who got off to a cracking start as his brother Williams Christian chased him down. Further back, 1NH got a great start as well. He was in 3rd. And those 2 there, the 2019 champ Andrew ZH and 17 and 18 champ Trastevere, battled it out with Eligos 555 as he tried to make his way through the pack.
Huge surprise with the 2 Italians battling it out for 5th place. Not where we expected to see them at all, putting a proper ding-dong together at the Red Bull Ring. At the front though, no such problems for this man. Williams Adrian aboard the KTM, taken 3 pole positions and made it 3 race victories to start 2020. The perfect start to life for the Spaniard, joined on the podium by brother Williams Christian and fellow KTM rider Juan NH.
We went on to Sepang and it was drama from the start as Andrew ZH crashed out, the 2019 champion. His 2020 eSport campaign has been a real struggle so far. And there was also further drama as that man, Trastevere, also crashed out on the first lap. Andrew ZH came back through the pack and had to battle, but it was those battles that cost him in the end.
A huge opportunity for those guys hoping to etch their name onto the MotoGP Championship for the very first time, with our only 2 previous champions having a nightmare round 2, and both Williams Christian and Williams Adrian pounced on that opportunity. This time though, Adrian was beaten for the very first time. The Suzuki man, his brother, was able to get the better of him and took his first win of 2020.
So Williams Christian then, he crossed the line to take victory from his brother, as you said. And it is those 2 at the head of the championship with a 29-point advantage for Williams Adrian.
Trastevere is there in 3rd, 34 points adrift. Juan NH with 2 podiums up to 4th, with Andrew ZH, last year's champion, still in contention in 5th. So that's the lay of the land then heading into tonight, with Williams Adrian leading the way. And we took a look at some of the most dramatic moments from round 2 just a few moments ago. But one thing that we didn't take a look at, because we're going to look in a little bit more detail right now, is the moment in Sepang when Sancho Queen and Andrew ZH had themselves quite the bit of a coming together. You can see Sancho Queen just behind Andrew ZH in pretty hot, takes him out. Andrew ZH obviously dropping to the back of the field, and then Sancho Queen was given a penalty as a result as well. So let's talk to both guys involved in that incident, starting with you, Sancho Queen. Obviously a big mistake from you. Just talk us through exactly what happened.
Well, it was a disaster race for me. I finished at 11 because that penalized for me at the end. But yeah, because I took a hard at the front and then couldn't stop the bike. Just I made a mistake at the last corner and I touched him. And then yeah, it was my fault and sorry.
And on the other perspective of that, there was, of course, Andrew ZH. So, Andrew, if we can just get your thoughts and opinions on the crash, and then I'm sure that you're going to come into this event trying to find the form that won you the title last year and turn your bad luck around in 2020.
Yeah, about the Sepang race, it was really pity because 2 crashes in one race, not for my fault. After the first crash, I did a good comeback, and when I was at the battle for the fourth position, at the last turn, Sancho Queen hit me, and I had fallen. It was strange because it's already the second time that used me like a wall maybe to stop the bike after a rest, but this time I had fallen. And it was a good opportunity point for the championship, but I couldn't do nothing, so it was pity, and I hope better for these two races in Misano and Phillip Island.
Sounds like there's a little bit of needle there between. You've got to love it. Love a little bit of rivalry in MotoGP.
But I think after that accident, I need to be more careful in the next race.
Well, best of luck tonight, Sancho.
Yeah, certainly, and as Jack rightly said there, we do have another Indonesian on the grid in the form of Moe. And Moe is a three-time finalist in the Global Series. So Moe, what's it been like for you to be one of Indonesia's biggest esports stars?
Hello everyone. Yes, this is my third year in MotoGPeSport, and I feel every year this championship level is racing every year, and this year is especially it's very high, and I just feel very happy to be able to compete with this guy. Yeah.
Yeah, and certainly Moe has been one that's showing some strong form at times in 2020.
He certainly has, and one man that's been showing strong form in our virtual races for MotoGP earlier this year was Repsol Honda's Alex Marquez. The younger of the Marquez brothers got the better of his world champion brother Mark in a last lap, last corner dice at Misano of all places, and that's exactly where we're going to go for our first race this evening. So who better to speak to than Alex Marquez? He only went and picked up one of his career best MotoGP results there quite recently as well. So let's get his thoughts of the Misano World Circuit Marco Simoncelli before we go racing.
It was one of the best eSports game that we did it, from the three that we did it. The most emotional until last corner with my brother that I overtake him. The fastest was Fabio, because he was 1 second faster than us per lap, but he crashed. Also I crashed with him. Then he was recovering in the last lap. Mark was in front, also I was recovering to him. So yeah, it was a good race, especially to sweating at home, the hands, everything, because in the last lap I was pushing, but yeah, it was a nice race and really emotional until second.
Hostia, tío, quítate el suelo, tío. Great to take a trip down memory lane there of one of our virtual races from earlier in the year. Fingers crossed we can have another last lap battle at the Misano World Circuit. Marco Simoncelli, Jack, it's coming up very shortly.
Yeah, it certainly is, and I'm sure there will be more drama. As you guys know, we're going to look at the session info now, and what we have lined up for us is 15 minutes of qualifying, followed by a 10-lap race. It's a little bit of a sprint race, so you can guarantee there'll be some action, particularly because balanced performance is on. But you do have to be careful not to push the limits too far, as the penalties are set to strict.
Now both tyre and fuel consumption is on, something for these guys to keep an eye on when we get to race time. That's coming up shortly. Before that though, let's take a look at exactly how they got on in the 15 minutes worth of qualifying that took place earlier on today. Here's how they're going to line up for race 5 of the Global Series.
So qualifying took place earlier. 15-minute session to decide pole position at the Misano World Circuit Marco Simoncelli. Fast laps came in all the way through the session, right into the dying moment. Andrew ZH looked as though he was going to contest early on, as it looked like the Bologna Bullet was trying to take a pole position at the San Marinese venue. Williams Christian, he had a pretty good qualifying session, but a couple of laps that were disallowed due to track limits, it left him fairly late until he got his lap, which launched himself all the way up the order as he went into second position behind his brother. And speaking of his brother, Williams Adrian, in the end, it was another pole position for Williams Adrian, the 5th of the season for him. On one lap pace, he's been absolutely sensational, unbeatable. He's just got that slight edge, slight consistency and confidence to push it all the way until the absolute limit. And it was his 5th pole position of the year as he went red in every sector to go to the top of the time. So it was Williams Adrian from Williams Christian, Andrew ZH in third, Trastevere in fourth, Eligos 555, Davide Galini, Mr. TFTW, Sancho Queen, Moe and Fuchs down in 11th.
So he's done it again, Williams Adrian, a 5th pole position at the 5th time of asking. Incredible performance in qualifying so far this year. Many congratulations, Adrian. With that 5th pole position out of 8, it of course means that you've won the Tissot MotoGP Pole Award this year. So there's a brand new watch coming your way, not bad at all. How are you feeling ahead of the race? And I'm sure you're looking forward to getting that watch just in time for Christmas as well.
Thanks a lot. I am so happy of this pole because in this track it's very important to stay in the first three, and I will try to do a good start and I will try to have a good pace and I am very happy also for win the watch, and I will try to do my best in the race.
Well, congratulations, Adrian, but as we've seen before, Jack, it's easier said than done converting that pole into a race win.
Yeah, it certainly is a lot easier said than done. Another thing that is a lot harder to be said than to be done is mastering this Misano circuit. It's certainly quite a tricky one. So let's take a look as we build up to the 5th race of the Global Series at the Misano hotspots, where they'll be aiming to get them right to be able to set them up for an overtake.
Let's take a look then at some of the key overtaking hotspots for the Misano World Circuit. Marco Simoncelli, the Italian circuit, playing host to race 5 of 8 in this 2020 MotoGP Esport Global Series. Just over 4 kilometres in length, with 10 right-handers and 6 left. It's a circuit I'm sure that you'll all be familiar with after it played host to the Grand Prix of San Marino and Emilia Romagna. So let's take a look at these overtaking hotspots then. Starting in zone number 1, turn 1 in particular is going to be a key place to keep your eye on, of course, where Marc Marquez got the better of Fabio Quartararo at the start of the final lap last year, but also a brilliant place to dive through on the brakes. Another place to get up the inside is turn number 8, Quercia, right in front of the grandstand as well, or the hill as it is, where you'll see lots of fans mounting there. Another place that you could possibly look at is coming out of Tremonto 10. You can either dive through there or look at a brave pass at turn 11 of Cavoni, and into the final sector as well. The final corner, not really an opportunity to get through, but certainly turn 14, Caro, is the best place on this circuit to have a look through. Plenty of opportunities then. Who will take advantage of them?
Hello guys, it's Fabio Quartararo. I know you are gonna race in Misano soon, so just wanted to tell you be careful in turn 4 where I crash, and also to our teammate Canada is really fast, so I will be watching you guys.
Many thanks to Petronas Yamaha SRT's Fabio Quartararo there, and I must say, Jack, pretty sound advice as well. Don't tuck the front at turn number 4, and what he forgot to mention was don't exceed track limits as well. But I think that's all the talking over and done with now. Let's get round 3 of the 2020 MotoGP Esport Global Series officially underway and go racing in Misano. Here we go then. Welcome to the Misano World Circuit. Marco Simoncelli in the Riviera di Rimini, and it's crunch time in the MotoGP Esport Global Series. This is it, race 5 of 8 in the 2020 Championship, with the front row of the grid a box office one with Williams Adrian, joined there by Williams Christian and Andrew ZH.
On row number 2, we do have Trastevere, Mr. 2-time on the factory Yamaha. Joining him is Eligos 555 in the Aprilia on 5th, and 6th is Davide Galini. Good qualifying from him on the 2nd row of the grid.
Yeah, great qualifying from the hometown hero. Row 3 of the grid, Mr. TFTW on the Realia Vintia Ducati. And we've got Sancho Queen on the Petronas Yamaha, the impressive rookie, and Moe, his compatriot, on the LCR Honda Castrol.
And on the back row of the grid, we do have Fuchs, the Brazilian, on the Repsol Honda, and in 11th place, the unfortunate Juan Juan and H. He'll have to go from the back of the grid. It's going to be a difficult race from the double podium man last time out.
Yeah, certainly will. That's not how we wanted to get this round 3 of the Global Series started in Juan and H. Anyway, here we go. Lights are on and they're off in Misano. It's a good start from pole position once again from the KTM of Williams Adrian. He's got his brother for company though as we motor down to the opening corner. Contact there between the two champions. Oh, Trastevere has gone down after being clipped by Andrew ZH of all people. Disaster for the Monster Energy Yamaha man.
I don't believe it. Juan and H is already through into 4th place. I don't know how he got that absolute rocket launch of a start, but somehow he's already through into 4th place. As we do jump on board with him, he's going wide. Davide Galini's up the inside. That's definitely a corner cut, but it's not going to matter too much. And I think he's just going to hang it around the outside. Yes, he does. He gets the Ducati launch down towards into turn 8.
Well, side by side they were there as we flicked through. Here's Ellie goes 555. Good start from the Aprilia man. Goodness gracious me.
Oh, someone else
Nearly
down.
had contact. It's Andrew ZH. The other champion's gone down. What a dramatic opening half a lap here with both of our previous eSport champions crashing out. First Trastevere and now Andrew ZH. Well, this is an omen if I've ever seen one that we're surely going to get a new name on the 2020 eSport trophy. We've got Williams Adrian out front with his brother Williams Christian for company. These two have been head and shoulders above the rest all year long and they're continuing it here in round 3.
Yeah, they really are. And I can't believe it, Jack, but it's absolute repeat carbon copy of the last race of the last round of the Global Series where Andrew ZH and Trastevere both crashed out on lap 1 as well. So complete disaster for our only 2 champions in the field as we now come round to complete lap 1. And there's the Aprilia man again, once again. Ellie goes 555 in P3, having a sterling ride here early on.
Yeah, great ride from the Aprilia man, just showcasing why he is a previous runner-up in this MotoGP eSport Championship back in 2018. Here's Andrew ZH then, last year's champion, down in 9th, with Trastevere down in 10th. Here's the start that we wanted to see. He was dead last on the grid. He's already up to 8th, now 7th, 6th, and there you see Trastevere crashing out. He then dives up the inside of Andrew ZH as well. What an opening couple of corners that is from the Red Bull KTM Tech Trois man. 11th on the grid, and in the space of 2 corners, he was inside the top 5.
Yeah, absolutely lightning start from Juan and H. P4 now, as we do say, so we did get the better of Davide Galini on the Pramac Ducati in the end, but it's another Red Bull KTM at the front. Williams Adrian, you said it, Jack, just before. They've been the absolute class of the field, the 2 Williams, Adrian and Christian guys, and once again they're showing their quality here in Misano.
They're already starting to pull clear is Williams Adrian. He's just like a metronome, just bit by bit, ticks away, a 10th here, a 10th there, and unfortunately nobody has been able to live with him, not only today so far, but all year long. The only time he's been beaten into 2nd place was in race 4 of the Global Series last time out when we were at the Sepang International Circuit in Malaysia. His brother got the better of him that day, but I think he'll take that sort of form, only finishing 2nd in 1 of the opening 4 races. If he continues that in our final 4 races, well, then there's no question he's going to be our champion. Meanwhile, there's Juan NH out on track limits. He needs to be careful there. If he gets another couple of warnings, then suddenly there's going to be a time penalty handed his way. Unlike we see in MotoGP or Moto2 or Moto3, no long lap penalty in the MotoGP eSport Championship. A time penalty instead will be handed against him. Here are the 2 men battling it out for the final podium place then. Ellie goes 555 to the right, on top of Juan NH at the moment, and he was on top of him in virtual terms as well there as well. Absolutely threw it on top of the KTM to the Aprilia man, and he somehow holds on to 3rd place with still a long way to go in this one. 3 laps completed, and at the moment it's all about the Williams brothers at the front.
Yeah, quite a lot of body English going on there for Ellie goes 555 at the top of the screen. You can see his thumbs flying all over the place, and that head as he comes down now into Tramonto at turn 10, he's probably going to be leaning that head once more. But it does appear that he's just been able to hold off the charging Juan and H all the way from 11th on the grid, maybe we just remind you once again. So yeah, absolutely cracking job, and if he can land himself on the podium again, well, it's the same top 4 as we had last time out in Global Series round 2.
Here we go as we flick through the super quick turns 11, 12 and 13. That triple, the trio of right-handers, really will at the end of the race start to take a toll on that right-hand side of the tyre. You can see there with the onboard shots that we've got and the analysis of Ellie Goes 5.5's rear tyre. Already with just, 3 laps now completed, the right-hand side of that rear tyre and on the front as well is significantly more deteriorated than the left-hand side of the tyre. They're going to have to be careful with that as we get into the latter stages. But so far, so good for the pair of them, as it is for Williams Adrian, fastest man on track at the moment, and he's bit by bit pulling clear of his brother on the Suzuki.
Yeah, this is the problem that Williams Christian's had all year, really. It's been a proper headache for him in 2020. He may well be just as quick as his brother, but that's the problem. He can't really be any quicker as we see 1NH get a second track limits warning, so he needs to be careful right now, otherwise he's going to get some form of time penalty at the end of the race. But going back to Williams Christian, he may well be just as quick as Williams Adrian, but it's so hard to be that 2-3 tenths quicker that you need to be able to close a gap in these short 10-lap races. You know, he can pick up kind of 100th here and 100th there. We see Sancho Queen starting to get a bit fighty in that battle for 5th place with Davide Galigna. But for Williams Christian, he's not going to be able to close him down if he can only take kind of half a tenth here, half a tenth there.
Here we go then, flicking through Cavone with Davide Galigna still holding off the charging Sancho Queen. The rookie didn't have the greatest of Global Series events last time out after an incredible showing at round 1 with races 1 and 2. He really slipped backwards in round 3. He was round 2, sorry, obviously at round 3 now. Wasn't able to showcase the form that we saw, but he looks to be back to his best here. Does the Indonesian rookie. He's really putting Davide Galigna under all sorts of pressure, and with that little bit of a kiss that he gave him last time around, he's been given a warning for reckless riding, something that he's all too familiar with
yes.
after his contact with Andrew ZH in Sepang last time out.
Yeah, he certainly is. Obviously that time he was hunting down a factory Ducati, now he's hunting down a Pramac Ducati, as we both see them on your screen. A little bit more relaxed than 1NH and Eligos 555 we saw earlier. Sancho Queen just sat back in his chair, checking all the corners of his screen, probably looking at his tyre wear and fuel consumption as well, just seeing that he's not using too much of that up. As he goes to the inside, actually, he's going to barge him. He's going to stop him coming on the back of the exit on turn 8. Going to charge down to Tremonto now, and it looks as though he's got the pass done.
Yeah, nice move from Sancho Queen. I think that's what they call in motocross terms, a block pass, but he goes wide, and that allows Davide Galigna to sweep straight back through. What a fight we've got here over the final place inside the top 5. This is going to be where the men are separated from the boys. He goes around the outside at Cavone. What a move from Sancho Queen. Finally gets it done. Is he a little bit wide there through turn 12? No, he's just able to hold on. Now a good opportunity for Davide Galigna to bite back, but Sancho Queen goes defensive, holds the line, and it looks as though he's sewn up that 5th place finish, or 5th place provisional finish for now. Davide Galigna unable to respond, and already Sancho Queen has pulled out, what's that, 2-3 bike lengths over the Italian.
Yeah, certainly looks as though he might just have that 10th or 2 he needs to be able to close down 1NH in 4th and launch himself into that podium battle. But speaking of a Yamaha making progress, there was one Yamaha that just popped up on your screen there. Trastevere actually set the fastest lap on the last lap of the race. I think it was a 27.8 that popped up, but he's all the way down in 10th. It's no good for him if he's going to have those crashes at the start of the race. It's completely ruined him. He may well have had the pace to even, well, fight for the podium or the win in this race, but that crash, it just shows you that it's all too costly in this short championship.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think we're going to get another look at exactly what happened there, but was it Trastevere's fault? Was he pushed, or was he given a little bit of a nudge? We'll have to wait and see on that one. I'm sure he will be of the belief that it wasn't his fault and he took a bit of a nudge, but it could well be that the front end just folded in those early stages. Back to this fight for the final podium place then. Eligos 555 doing a pretty good job at the moment from withstanding the mounting pressure by 1NH. He's been right on his coattails all race long so far, and he's got to be careful of track limits. He's already had a couple of warnings as 1NH. If he continues like that, he will get himself a time penalty, and any hopes of being on the podium will be gone. But so far, so good for Eligos 555. Good performance this from the Aprilia man. Had to settle for 2 4th place finishes last time out, but he's on course at the moment for a podium, and a well-deserved one as well.
Yes,
yeah, track limits though.
Ooh, he's got to be careful of that though. We've already seen a few track limits violations and warnings pop up in this race already, as he just gets one there, exactly as we just noted and you picked up on, Jack. So Eligos 555, he's got to be really careful now. As look at this string of riders we've got. This goes from Eligos all the way back to, I think, Moe in 8th place.
I think he does.
So it's a right little battle. There's about half a second between each of them, as even Andrew ZH now is coming into this. So if there's a few crashes and a few little bangers and bars and stuff like that coming down into these last 3.5 laps, Andrew ZH could really claw some points back, but the people that he's trying to chase and beat for this championship and retain his title are out 1 and 2. So it's not going to be any good for last year's champion.
No, it's certainly not. Talking of that battle for third place, we were just a few moments ago. I think Juan NH now, never mind looking forwards, he's going to have to be looking backwards because Sancho Queen was all over the rear wheel of the Red Bull KTM Tech 2. I'm sure we'll be looking at those two momentarily. Meanwhile, we'll check in on the guys out front, and it still is Adrian. Looks unfazed, looks unflustered. He looks to be on course to yet another victory this year. Meanwhile, this is a little bit more feisty. The battle over fourth place. Sancho Queen has already got the better of Davide Guilherme, and now he's set his attention on Juan NH as well. A great ride through the field. This is from the Petronas Yamaha SRT, man. This is exactly what we saw at round 1. These sort of performances in Mugello and Jerez is what grabbed everybody's attention, and he's back to his best. Here is the young Indonesian. Juan NH is in a bit of bother here because Sancho Queen is all over the rear wheel of the KTM, man.
Yeah, he's certainly going to be sweating a little bit, sat at home in his armchair playing MotoGP 20 with Sancho Queen all over the back of him. And just going back to even before the very first race of this 2020 Global Series, we were so surprised at how confident Sancho Queen was that he said he could get on the podium every race so long as he had good starts and kept out of trouble. But once again, he's showing that no naughtiness, as though he does cut the corner slightly there. Needs to be careful. I'm not sure if he's had a track limits warning pop up yet, but even so, he needs to be careful of those track limits. He doesn't want to get it now. Coming down into the crucial part of the race, as he can see. Oh, and I've cursed him. He's got a track limits come up now. The race directions picked up on that one at turn 5.
Yeah, he needs to be careful, does Sancho Queen, as does Juan NH as well. In fact, all three of these men battling it out for the final place on the podium are at the moment on a live wire, because one small mistake, one touch of the green, and that could be a costly time penalty. So far, though, it looks as though, having been under pressure from Sancho Queen, Juan NH has got the fire reignited in his belly, because suddenly he's closed right back in on Ellie Goes 555 again. Bit of a mistake there from Sancho Queen, just had to sit it up on the way in towards turn 14 there. Just about got it done though as we head through the final two left-handers. Been through 15, here's 16, the final corner out of it, meaning that we're on to the penultimate lap here. We're on lap 9 of 10, just 2 to go in Misano, and so far so good for both of the Williams brothers out front. Adrian leads, as we've seen so often this year, and Christian is in second once again, as we've seen often. Oh, disaster. Andrew ZH, things go from bad to worse for last year's champion. The Ducati man now crashes again, and he's down to 10th place. Incredible. What a disaster for the Ducati man.
Yeah, absolute nightmare. I can't believe it. Once again in 2020, we're questioning what's gone on with Trastevere and Andrew ZH. Andrew ZH, 2 crashes in this race, and that is massive for the championship. We know by now he's too far back to challenge for the title, but even just to retain some honour and finish in the top 5 or top 4. He's 5th at the moment, and he's got Juan NH just ahead of him, and Ellie Goes 555 only 1 point behind him, who's now sitting in P3 in this race. So Ellie Goes 555 is definitely going to go up ahead of Andrew ZH in the championship at the end of this one. It's
a nightmare for our Italians in this championship. It has been Italian domination over the past 3 years. Trastevere winning the opening 2, and then Andrew ZH continuing, if I can put my teeth in, that run of form for the Italians by making it 3 Italian titles in a row. But this year, it's been utter Spanish domination. If things stay as they are, we've now just 1 lap remaining of Misano. It will be the 3rd race in a row where the top 4 riders have all been Spanish. And once again, it's Adrian, Christian, Ellie Ghost and Juan that are dominating this year's Global Series. They all train together, they're all helping each other, and it's clearly working out there because they have been the class above the rest, with Adrian, the one man in particular that has been untouched so far. Well, touched once, shall we say, in Malaysia. Apart from that, he's been clearly the best rider, the form rider in this 2020 title chase.
Yeah, he certainly has been, but just picking up on this battle, I think Juan NH is wanted to challenge, as you did say. You said the top 4 are Spanish once again this race, but I think he wants to reshuffle that order. As we see him in the background there as we get a lovely helicopter shot of this fantastic Misano circuit, that he's just trying to challenge for that P3 again. But Williams Adrian, he's been the man of the moment once again in 2020. He's going to extend his championship lead even further. 5 more points he'll pull out over his brother Williams Christian. 29 is the advantage as it stands at the moment, and it's going to be 34 at the end of this race.
Incredible. Remember, we have got double points at the final round, so it's not over and done with just yet, but he's certainly edging his way ever closer to a first ever MotoGP eSport title. Meanwhile, it's not over and done with yet for this final podium place. We're into the final sector. Time is running out for Juan NH. He's going to have to find one hell of a lunge if he wants to get in front of Eligos 555. No such problems for this man. It's victory number 4 in 2020 for Williams Adrian. He once again dominates here in Misano. Williams Christian has to settle for second, and Eligos 555 just about holds off Juan NH to take the final podium place.
Yeah, absolutely cracking ride from the top 3. Eligos 555 with his first podium of the year. Sensational performance on that man. He's finally pipped Juan NH, who pipped him both times last time out.
Sancho Quinn takes 5th then ahead of Davide Galinia. Mr. TFTW Moe, our 2 previous champions, Trastevere and Andrew ZH, with Fuchs rounding us out in 11th. Race 5 of the 2020 Global Series done and dusted then. Plenty of drama once again, but once again it was the same man at the front and he was able to avoid all of the drama behind him, Williams Adrian, making it 4 wins out of 5 races this year. Incredible performance from him. We'll be speaking to him very shortly. Before that though, a brand new name on the podium in 2020, Aprilia's Eligos 555 taking 3rd. Many congratulations. What's it like to be on the podium for the first time in 2020?
Hi everyone, I am really happy for getting this podium. There are so many important points for the championship, and in the start of the race was really difficult because there were so many crashes, but I was able to manage the situation. I could keep the 3rd place during the whole race. And I want to dedicate this podium to Aprilia because they are supporting me a lot, and I think they deserve this result. Thank you very much.
Well, congratulations, Ellie. It's great to have a new name on the podium, Jack, isn't it? But it's the same top 2 leading the way once again.
Yeah, it certainly is. And of the first of those top 2 we have to say congratulations to, it is Williams Christian, who took another 2nd place in 2020. Williams Christian, you were just behind your brother the whole race there. You must be hoping that in the next race this evening you can finally take another win in 2020.
Thank you. I am happy with the podium, but I am not happy with my pace during the race because I start really well, but the bike moves a lot on the brakes, so I could fight for the victory, but in the next time I will try again.
Yeah, certainly. Well, we hope you can try again, and it seems that maybe just a few problems, maybe this evening with the 2nd race you can try again.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Meanwhile, no such problems for our championship leader. As we said, 4 wins out of 5, 5 pole positions out of 5. Total dominance so far in 2020 for Williams Adrian. Congratulations on another win. I'm getting pretty used to this chat with you now. How does it feel to pick up win number 4 of the year?
Thank you very much. I am so happy. The race was very difficult. Fortunately, I started well, and I tried to have a good pace. And I am so happy for this victory and get this important point for the championship. And also happy for Christian, Eligos, Juan, for Spanish in the first position again, and I will try to do my best in Phillip Island.
Yeah, as you say, the Spanish Mafia taking over in the 2020 Global Series once again. An opportunity for you guys to grab a drink before we switch our focus to Phillip Island. Let's take a look at the race highlights and a little refresh of the championship standings after race 5 of the Global Series.
So that's it then for race 5 of the 2020 Global Series. And this is how it looks in the championship standings. It is, of course, Williams Adrian out front on 120 points now. His brother follows him up in second place, Williams Christian, all the way back on 86, no less. Equal third place in the championship now is a great battle between Trastevere and Juan NH16 on 68 apiece. Eligos 555 follows them up on 59. Sancho Queen's just behind him. And Andrew ZH, last year's champions, all the way down in 7th place on just 50 points. Davide Galigna is on 40, just behind him. And Mr. TFTW, Moe and Fuchs rounding them out on 38 points.
There we go, then Misano is done and dusted. Race 5 ticked off with Williams Adrian extending out his championship lead, as we've seen just there, to 29 points, Jack.
Yeah, certainly that championship lead is really amassing to something quite spectacular now. But as we move on to the second race of round 3 of the Global Series, we are looking at the Phillip Island Grand Prix circuit. And who better to tell us about what you need to do to your motorcycle to get it work around this fast and flowing track than Santi Hernandez. Marc Marquez's crew chief. Marc's had 3 wins around here, so Santi is the perfect man to speak to.
Yeah, the most important point for Phillip Island is the stability, because it's a very fast circuit where you get a high speed corner. Okay, you have 2 corners where you brake hard, but you don't need to sacrifice that 2 points. I mean, it's much better to focus to get the bike stable more than focus on the braking point. One of the critical points is the first hard braking point in the right corner, because you come from the last corner. On the left side, you have a long straight, you have left, 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 and then you arrive on the right side, where the tire in that side is too cold. About the suspension, we can say that circuit is one of the circuits where you go on the softer way. I mean, because you don't have hard braking point, and then you don't need to be stronger on the front side, and the rear you have to be a little bit stronger than the other circuit, because you have a long corners and try to keep the position for time. Australia is one of the circuits also where the gearbox have to be first gear. It's important because you have 2 corners in first gear, and 5th and 6th have to be a little bit longer, because long straight, long fast corner where you take a slipstream, and then it's very important to have the speed. If not, you are touching the limiter many times, and this is will become a problem for the engine. About the electronics, there is 2 things where you are working quite a lot. Is about the torque, because like we say, we need to have a stable bike, and you need to have a very good connection with the gas, because it's long corner, and it's very important for the rider to have the connection with the gas to the rear side. And then you are working quite a lot with the torque and also with the anti-wheelie, especially in the last corner where you have high speed, and when change the gearbox, they have a little bit wheelie, and then maybe you can lose the acceleration. Remember, last right corner, be attention, because it's a place where it's very critical for the right side, especially for the front tire. It's very cold, and also be attention to prepare one bike very stable for the fastest corner.
Many thanks there to Santi Hernandez, crew chief, to Marc Marquez, of course, a man that knows Phillip Island very well, and let us know a couple of his own Phillip Island pearls, Jack. Right, let's switch attention properly to the Phillip Island circuit and run you through all of the info to the 10-lap race that's coming up under the Australian sunshine. Of course, the track conditions there are dry as always, but probably a little bit windy as it normally is in Phillip Island as well. As you can see, we've also got balanced performance, collisions on, something to keep an eye on. We might see a couple of elbow banging going in, bar bashing going in. Hopefully we've got all of that on the menu coming up very shortly.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be drama aplenty. And there was drama aplenty earlier on with qualifying as well. It was an absolutely cracking qualifying session. So to take you through it all, let's take a look at the qualifying highlights for race 6 of the Global Series.
Here's how the grid will shape up for race 6 of the 2020 Global Series in Phillip Island, and looking to bounce back in the best way possible from Misano. Disappointment is Trastevere. The Monster Energy Yamaha man will take the final place on the front row, starting on the outside in 3rd. He'll be joined on that front row of the grid by Team Suzuki X-Stars Williams Christian. In the closing stages, just under 2 minutes remaining The Spaniard threw absolutely everything at it, but despite going red in the third sector, he just missed out on top spots. That went the way of brother Williams Adrian once again. He got out there nice and early, and with 8 minutes on the clock, he was able to put in a lap that was untouchable as we tick down towards the checkered flag. It's pole position number 6 of 2020 for the Red Bull KTM factory racing man, as he goes for race win number 5 in a few moments' time. Sancho Queen will front row 2 ahead of Andrew Z18. Goes 5.55. Mr. TFTW is on row 3 alongside Juan NH and Davide Galinia, with Moe and Fuchs 10th and 11th. Well, we can pull out the script and do the exact same thing that we've done the previous 5 times, because once again it's pole position for Williams Adrian. He makes it 6 out of 6, utter dominance over 1 lap so far, and he's not been too bad over 10 or 8 laps in the race as well. So congratulations, Adrian, you've already got the Tissot watch in your back pocket. It's now 6 pole positions in a row, so let's talk about 6. How did you manage to do this one?
Thank you very much. I am so happy. Start in the first 3 in Phillip Island is very important. It's very important, like in Misano. I will try to do a good start and do a good race. And the last years, my qualifying were not good, because I started 7, 8, 5. Then this year I train it the qualifying, because the most important in this game is start in the first row, because it's so difficult overtaking.
No, well, that practice is clearly paying off, Adrian. 6 pole positions in a row. Not bad going at all, Jack.
Yeah, not bad at all. And the ultimate question is, can anyone beat him? So let's take a look at exactly that. And to do that, they're going to have to put in a cheeky overtake on him, maybe a firm one if it's needed. So in order to do that, let's take a look at the hotspots at the Phillip Island Grand Prix circuit ahead of race 6 of the Global Series.
Race 6 of the 2020 Global Series takes place at the Phillip Island circuit in Australia, one of the iconic classic MotoGP circuits, because it always provides unbelievable racing, and that's because there's plenty of places to make an overtake. So let's take a look at some of the better places around this 4.5 kilometre circuit. 7 left, 5 right. It's got just about everything. A rider's favourite, and this is exactly why. Starting in zone 1, turn number 1, Dewan corner. A brilliant place to dive through. You need to be brave though, because it's a quite fast right-hander. Into zone 2, probably one of the best places to make a move in the whole circuit will be Honda Hairpin. You can get a great run through Stoner corner. Make sure you don't go too sideways, as Casey Stoner used to do, before then diving through up the inside. Another place you can probably line your way through is the hay shed before you go over Lukey Heights, and then dive through right there at zone 4 into MG Hairpin. Another one of the classic places to make a move. Plenty of chances then for our eSport gamers to get a move on their competitors. Phillip Island always delivers.
G'day guys, this weekend's the MotoGP eSport event in Australia. I want to wish all you guys the best of luck on my home circuit. I know you guys will enjoy it. The layout's so much fun. Just remember to try and keep the corner speed up, try not to slow the bike down too much, and carry as much speed onto the front straight as possible.
Many thanks to Jack Miller there for his words of advice and support for our 11 MotoGP eSport gamers, although I think he's probably got a vested interest in 2 in particular, Jack, with his Pramac Racing teammate Davide Galinia and the hometown hero Mr. TFTW. As Jack says, though, unfortunately we can't be there in physical terms in 2020. The good news is we can go there in virtual terms. So the suitcase is packed, Jack. We've got a didgeridoo, a boomerang and a can of Foster's in there. So let's pop across to Australia and get race 6 of the 2020 Global Series underway by going racing in Phillip Island. Race 6 of the 2020 Global Series is about to get underway in Phillip Island, one of the iconic MotoGP circuits. Hopefully it's going to throw up one of the iconic MotoGP eSport races. Once again, it's that man Adrian on pole with his brother Christian alongside him, with Trastevere hoping to bounce back after Misano disappointment.
Sancho Queen lines up in 4th. Good lap from that man late in qualifying to take a second row grid slot. Andrew ZH lines up in 5th. He's close to Trastevere on P3 as well. Ellie goes 555 on the Aprilia once again. Good qualifying from that man.
Row through the grid, the hometown hero, Mr. TFTW, alongside him, Juan NH. Remember, he was back of the grid last time, but was still inside the top 5 after the opening couple of corners, so watch out for him, as you should do for Davide Galinia as well. Had a good performance last time out in Misano.
And on the back row of the grid, we've got a Honda duo in Moe in 10th, and 11th is Fuchs, the Brazilian, on the Repsol Honda.
So here we go then. It really is business time in the 2020 Global Series. Adrian once again starts from pole position, and once again it looks as though he's got a brilliant start. Brother Christian is going to go with him, as is Trastevere as well. Who's going to get the inside line as we flick right through Doohan for the very first time? And it's Adrian that takes the lead. Who's that that's gone down there? It's Andrew ZH. I cannot believe it. The champion of last year crashed out in Misano on the opening lap, and he's done it here in Phillip Island as well. I think we can safely say that is championship hopes over and done with for Andrew ZH. He will not be a 2-time eSport champion.
100%, Jack. I think you've absolutely nailed it on there. I was watching him off the line as Moe just tags it. And he goes down. So a good start from him is now completely struck from the record as he crashes out. But I was watching Andrew ZH off the line and he just went nowhere. He got completely swallowed up going down to turn 1, and when you get yourself in that position, that's exactly what can happen. So Andrew ZH is curtains for him. That is good night to him retaining his title this year.
Good night, Vienna, indeed. Despite double points being on offer at the final round, surely it is a insurmountable gap between himself and what will now be 6-7 riders in front of him in the championship. Here we go. This is a replay of exactly what happened between Moe and Ellie goes 555. One touch, then a second one, then a third one for good measure as well, and he eventually went down, did Moe, and dropped himself down to 10th. Ellie goes 555. Somehow, though, was able to stay upright with that little bit of contact, just causing a little bit of separation here. The top 3 of Adrian, Christian and Trastevere have broken clear.
Hold on, Jack. Look who's in 5th. It's Mr. TFTW, the Australian hero. Whoa! 1NH slides out and loses it at Doohan. That's a fast place to go down. I bet that one tickled a little bit. But Mr. TFTW, the Australian, the home race hero. He had his best race last year here, and he's looking to do it once again in the top 5. Congratulations. Great start from that man.
Sensational ride from Mr. TFTW, right on the tail of Ellie goes 555 as well. Brilliant, brilliant stuff coming in from the Australian. So far, so good for him. Let's hope he can carry on and get himself a first ever top 5 finish in the MotoGP eSport Global Series. Would be brilliant. So much improvement he has made since he made his debut in the Global Series last year. He's come on leaps and bounds, and he's a regular, consistent performer in the Global Series now. He might not have the pace to go with the top guys, but he's regularly challenging for the top 6 position. So this is a result, if he can hang on to it, of course, a long way to go, that it will definitely be deserving. At the front, though, as we've seen so often in 2020, is Adrian, followed by Christian, but Trastevere is desperately trying to get in amongst them and just disrupt their rhythm, because they've had it their own way pretty much all year long. Certainly at round 2 and here at round 3 so far as well. Those guys have been able to go out front and lead. So here we go then, Jack. Talk us through exactly what happened here.
Yeah, so Andrew ZH just got a bit sluggish off the line, and he bumped into the back of Sancho Queen and then got bumped in the rear by, I think it was 1NH, and then just got bumped wide by Fuchs on the Repsol Honda, and you saw that Ducati GP20 go skittling through the gravel trap. Absolute disaster, and you saw the frustration there with throwing his hands into the air.
Well, it's not your year, it's not your year, and I think that's exactly what we have to put it down to for Andrew ZH. So much misfortune as he came off the line there first, bumping and barging. Goodness gracious me, what on earth happened there?
I think Fuchs' Repsol Honda just went flying over over the whole circuit. I think it just skipped out the Honda hairpin and just thought, nah, I'm going straight to Siberia, mate.
Well, fair play. I mean, if you can pull it off, then you might as well give it a go. But luckily, everyone managed to avoid a low-flying Repsol Honda there. Goodness gracious me, it nearly took the head off a few riders. But they got away with it, and he's down to 8th now as a result of that crash. So it does promote Andrew ZH back up to 7th, but it's not going to be enough. We saw the live championship pictures just a moment ago, and he's already more than 75 points adrift of our championship leader, Williams Adrian, who, if things stay as they are, will take a brilliant and, well, I would say, looks like an untouchable 39-point championship lead going into our season finale. It's going to take something quite disastrous for him to lose out, even with double points on offer.
Yeah, certainly, Jack. I think you've just absolutely summed it up perfectly. When there's milliseconds between the top guys and the guys at the back of the grid in MotoGP Esport, it's certainly going to be pretty impossible to claw back 39 points, even with double points on offer. As you look on your screen now, we do have the home race hero, Mr. TFTW, chasing down the man in front of him. There goes 555. Once again, a lot of body English going on. There he goes, but absolutely zero from Mr. TFTW. Don't worry, his frame isn't frozen. That's just the way he races. But yeah, as we look back for him now, certainly he's coming down into Siberia now, and he's definitely closing in just that little bit on Ellie Goes 555. So we'll wonder if he can get that Ducati hooked up onto the straight and launch down the inside at Doing Corner on the next lap.
Still a good performance coming in from Mr. TFTW there, as we're focusing on the man in second place at the moment. Christian, if anything, has lost touch from his brother. Adrian is away with it if things stay as they are. He's managed to just chip away once again. As we've seen so often this year, he's metronomic out front. It's Jorge Lorenzo-esque. Smooth as butter is Williams Adrian. Never misses an apex, and he's just able to eke out a bike length here, a bike length there, before all of a sudden, without anybody realising, he's half a second up the road, and he's done it again here. 5 laps completed, half race distance now ticked off, and it looks as though it's Williams Adrian's day in the Phillip Island sunshine.
Yeah, certainly seems to be. He just seems to have that ability to just waltz away from people. Oh, and Andrew ZH has gone down again! I don't believe it. So even though already we said that his championship was over, he's now down in last place in 11th. He's only going to pick up 5 points. That is absolute smithereens. Completely gone now. Andrew ZH's title hopes, well, they're pretty much zero. It's a disaster for the Ducati man.
Well, that's it, the final nail in the coffin for the Bologna man. It was a dream, a fairy tale 2019 for him. Just 18 years of age, winning the MotoGP Esport Championship, the first one that Ducati had won in recent memory. And he was able to do it for his hometown factory as well. Brilliant scenes that we saw at the season finale in Valencia. We're not going to get those same scenes for Andrew ZH. If anything, it's the polar opposite. At the moment, he's going to do well to finish inside the top 5 of the championship. It has been a 2020 to forget for Andrew ZH. The same could be said at the moment for our two-time champion Trastevere. He's not given in just yet, though. This podium finish, well, he's going to lose further touch to Williams Adrian at the lead of the championship, but he's just about clinging on by his fingertips to that 2020 crown. It's certainly extremely unlikely that we're going to see him celebrating at our season finale, but he's given himself a glimmer, and it is the tiniest glimmer of hope.
Yeah, certainly. And if we look at the championship standings and what this actually does for Trastevere in this race, that's P3 is massive for him because he's equal on points with Juan H, who's currently down in 9th. So Juan H, who's had a 4th and 2/3 in the last 3 races, has suddenly had a little bit of a loss of form. Obviously, he started at the back of the grid in this... sorry, no, he didn't. Where did he start?
He started on the 3rd row of the grid.
So he was fairly low down, but still, for Trastevere, this is a crucial race for him to maintain that P3 in the championship.
Yeah, it certainly is. It would mean that going into our season finale, he's 52 points adrift, so he's going to need something quite remarkable, not only to get in front of Williams Adrian, but going into that season finale, he'd be 18 points away from Williams Christian as well. So he would need a fair swing going his way. He'd need both of the brothers to have an off day in our races 7 and 8, our 2 end-of-season races. But, you know, stranger things have happened. As we say, as long as he's giving himself that glimmer of hope, he will go in there with full confidence that he'll be able to hold on or try and pick up the crown that he lost last year. And that's the most important thing for Trastevere. You know, going into that season finale, if things stay as they are, he's got no pressure whatsoever. Nobody expects him to win. He's just got to go there and think, right, if I win both races, I've done my job, and whatever happens, happens. All of the pressure will be on Williams Adrian. So far, he's dealt with it, but we've not been at a championship winning stage just yet, and he's never been there before in his career. So how he will handle the pressure of being the favourite and the man that everyone expects to be crowned champion going into that season finale, well, it will have to just wait and see how he deals with it. But so far, so good for him. Meanwhile, back in that fight for the final place inside the top 5, still, it's going pretty well, pretty swimmingly for Mr. TFTW on home soil. He's the lead Ducati at the moment. What an honour that is, ahead of Davide Galinia on the Pramac Ducati with the factory Ducati, all the way down in 11th with Andrew Z.H. So, great performance from the Sponsorama Racing man.
Yeah, cracking performance, but I think this is the most pressure he's had in the race now, as Davide Galinia has clawed him in just a little bit. And we see Mr. TFTW, who went wide slightly at the Honda hairpin, but he cut it back for a late apex, but MG seems to have got it all sorted up by now. These two can't be too slack, though. They've got Sancho Queen just behind them, about a second further down the road, so no mistakes can be afforded if these two want to hold on to the top 6 finishing positions. It would be a solid result for the pair of them. Fantastic for Mr. TFTW, and certainly another great result for Davide Galinia. As we cut back to the front, he's on to the 8th lap of 10, so 3 laps to go, just under 3 now. And Williams Adrian, we saw on the last lap, he went slightly wide at MG, and it was kind of the first crack in the armour we've ever seen in this 2020 series, but I don't think it's phased him too much. He seems to have maintained that kind of half a second, 3/4 of a second buffer at the front, as William Christian still tries to reclaw that gap to him. As we look back to Andrew ZH, down in 11th. Fortunately, he does have a few people in front of him. He's got Moe, Fuchs and Wanan H all in his eye line. And as we cut back to Trastevere, between talking about changing fortunes between our two champions, Trastevere, certainly as Jack said, the pressure will be off him in the final round. He can just go out there and try to do the business. But it's going to be difficult. It certainly is going to be difficult. The Williams guys, they've been sensational all year. And once again in Phillip Island, it doesn't matter what challenge you throw at them. We all said at the start of the race that this circuit was a leveller, but it certainly seemed to have kept the same level for Williams Adrian and Williams Christian.
Yeah, they're certainly flying at the moment. They have been untouched all year long, and it's continuing here in Phillip Island as well. Trastevere is running out of time, as you rightly say, Jack. He's going to have to find something, although a little bit of track limits from Williams Christian there. He just ran wide out of the final corner. Will give him a little bit of hope and a little bit of something to cling on to as we go into these final 2 laps of the race. Another touch of the green from Williams Christian certainly will make it interesting, and that's probably the only reason that he's doing that is because of the pressure that Trastevere is putting him under. He's not backed off, has the number 73, he's sticking with it at the moment, just hoping that one mistake will come from either of the brothers out front and he'll be able to try and pounce on it.
Yeah, well, I'm quite impressed with Trastevere in this race. It seems weird to say that I'm impressed with Trastevere for maintaining the pace of the two Williams guys out front, but he's done exactly that, and we haven't seen it all year. Of course, in Global Series Round 1, he showed some flickers of what he can do, and we know that he's absolutely rapid. I mean, in the last couple of seasons, he's been the fastest guy, if not the second fastest guy, if not the fastest. And certainly this year, in this race, he's just had a couple of moments where he's maybe not been quite having a good session like you want to. Sometimes, you know, you hop on, you play these racing games, and it can be very difficult to get in that groove. But it certainly seems he's refound it here in the 6th race of Global Series, as Williams Adrian actually set the fastest lap on that last lap. So certainly showing no signs of tension or nervousness as we now come down to the final lap. And if he can maintain this, he's going to be 39 points ahead in the championship of his brother, Williams Christian. And Christian, he's got a nice cushy buffer over Trastevere and third as well. So certainly for those two, it really is kind of a tag team duo at the minute.
Incredible. Our maths, unsurprising, we were completely wrong earlier. We were looking at the championship results at the end of the last race, not what they are currently. Things stay as they are, as you rightly say. 39 points separating the two Williams brothers. Adrian 39 clear of Christian, with Trastevere 61 adrift of Adrian. So that shiny, the tiny little glimmer of hope we were talking about has just become even smaller as we go into the final half a lap here in Phillip Island. No mistakes all day long from Williams Adrian so far. 2 pole positions, 2 fastest laps, and, well, is now ever so close to picking up 2 race victories. This is another show of dominance from Williams-Adrian, a championship performance, Jack.
Yes, certainly. He's just shown once again why he is that step above everyone else in this series. He's only been beaten once so far, if he can hold this to the line. 5 wins out of 6. It's absolutely phenomenal from the KTM man. All the KTM bosses will be watching this. If they are, they'll be absolutely grinning from ear to ear as they see their man. Cool, calm and collected round the final corner. It's going to be this man to take victory.
It's a fantastic 5 wins in 2020 for Williams-Adrian. He puts one hand on the 2020 Global Series trophy. Williams Christian second once again, with Trastevere back onto the podium for the first time since round 1 of the Global Series to keep his hopes alive.
And rounding them out then, Eligos 555 picks up 4th, with the Australian hero Mr. TFTW in 5th, Davide Galigna, Sancho Queen, Juan NH, Moe, a disaster for Andrew ZH, and Fuchs round them out in 11th.
So before we head to the season finale, it now means that 2 podium finishes for Williams-Adrian will make him our 2020 champion. It's as simple as that. He can finish 3rd in both races and he will be our king of MotoGP eSport in 2020. Just like we saw in round 1 of the Global Series, it's another double victory for Williams-Adrian as he takes a huge strides forward towards being crowned our 2020 MotoGP eSport champion. One man still in the hunt though, picking up a vital podium finish. His first since round 1 is our 2-time champion Trastevere. Congratulations, back onto the podium. I'm sure you would prefer to be winning the race rather than finishing 3rd, but an important podium finish for you nevertheless to stay just about in touch with Adrian in the fight for the championship.
Hello to all, and for sure I'm not happy because in this championship is very difficult and strange. For sure I could fight for the podium all the races, but this year the Italian guys are very unlucky, no? And the first race and second, these two races, I could do the podium, fight for the podium for sure. The Misano, very sad. The first corner I had a contact, and then in the first corner, in the first lap again, another crash. It's a shame, but in Phillip Island also is a very nice race, but it's very difficult to overtake in this game. So I want also to say the congratulations to Adrian, because this year is the strongest, but from home. Let's see next year who will see. And I'm not happy, but we'll try the next 2 races, because we will have the double points, so we can fight for something more.
Yeah, you're exactly right. There's still 2 races left, Jack. Double points on offer, so it's not over and done with just yet.
No, it's certainly not. And those double points are exactly what Williams Christian will be aiming for. Christian, it was another second place for you at round 3 of the Global Series here. There was a lot of pressure in that race. How did you handle having Trastevere behind you and your brother Adrian just in front?
Hi, I am really happy with the result. The race for me was very difficult because I had Trastevere behind me, and I tried to overtake Adrian in the first 2-3 laps, but I couldn't. In this game it's really difficult to overtake, but anyway I am so happy with my pace. Trastevere and Adrian was so fast, so I am happy for fight with them. And also for the championship, it's really difficult to try to fight with him, but we try to win next races and try to fight and try to fight.
Certainly, well, it's going to be difficult for him at the final round, but if he wants to win, that's exactly what he's got to do. He's got to win those 2 final races.
Certainly does. He certainly does. Easier said than done, though, because once again, it's Williams-Adrian that has picked up a 5th win of the year, extends his championship lead out further. I'm sure you feel like you've got one hand on that trophy just now. 2 races left to go. You're nearly there. Congratulations again.
Thank you very much. I am really happy with this result, and the race was very difficult because Christian and Trastevere were behind all the race, 0.6 maximum, and I am very happy because I get a lot of points in this round for the championship, and I hope now we can go to Valencia and do the final in Valencia, not in house. And I will to stay in the podium in the last race because the points are double, and I will try to win another race for try to win the champions in the last round.
Well, wherever our grand finale takes place, you're certainly in pole position at the moment, Adrian. Congratulations on another perfect night of gaming here in the MotoGP Esport Global Series. There's one man that we need to talk to as well, Jack. The home hero from Phillip Island, Mr. TFTW, picking up a top 5 finish. The local hero did a magnificent job.
Yeah, he certainly did. His best performance of the season so far, and I think even last year in the 2019 Global Series it was his best performance as well. So you must be pretty happy with that one, Mr. T. Not too far from the top 4 guys there in the end.
Yeah, no, thanks, Jack and Jack. Yeah, really happy with 5th position. Comparing it to last year's, the competition this year is extremely high. Yeah, really happy that 2 top 10 results this round, and hopefully he can keep the ball rolling for the last round. Double points.
Certainly, that's exactly all it is about, those double points in the final round, Jack.
Yes, certainly, and I'm sure having to play in the middle of the night in Australia as well, he may have to have had a couple of Red Bulls to keep him going as well during the night. Right, we're nearly at an end for our show tonight, but before we leave you, let's recap on the championship standings at the end of the night before we head to our grand finale and double points. And unsurprisingly, the man at the top of the table is Williams Adrian. 39 points clear now of his brother Williams Christian, but close in contention still is Trastevere. 61 points adrift now, you can see there, and obviously with a maximum gap of 80 up for grabs, with the race winner finishing with 25 points, 11th place with 5. That means 80 is up for grabs in the final round. Looking at that, unfortunately, it means last year's champion Andrew ZH already out of contention, 89 points adrift, meaning that he will not be a 2-time MotoGP Esport champion. Massive disappointment for the young Italian, Jack, but from the highs of last year to the lows of this year, you can be absolutely guaranteed he will be back in 2021. He'll be back in contention for this MotoGP Esport title. Right, I think that's everything done for this evening. Massive thank you for you for helping me out throughout the night, and a massive thank you to all of our esport gamers as well that have put on a real show for you this evening, from Jack Appleyard, from Jack Gorst, and from everybody here at MotoGP HQ in Barcelona. Thank you very much for joining us. Don't forget to join us once again for the grand finale, where double points are on offer very shortly. Enjoy the rest of your day.